Searight Christlieb Koutz, my great-grandfather. This is Eugene Koutz, and I'm going to talk about his 4 stories from his Civil War experiences. When he was in the Civil War, he was in the Michigan 6th Cavalry, which was a part of the Union forces fighting against the Confederates. And his commanding general was General George Armstrong Custer, the youngest general in the Army at that time. And in this first story, I'm going to talk about the fact that he liked to smoke a pipe. And there was a runaway slave who joined the Michigan 6th Cavalry. And whenever he saw Searight Christlieb Koutz, Sergeant Koutz to him, light up his pipe, he would come over and say, "Sergeant Koutz, can I have a smoke on your pipe?" And Sergeant Koutz would let him do that. But he would walk off and he'd smoke the whole bowl of tobacco down and then bring it back. And that happened many times. So my great-grandpa Koutz, Searight Christlieb Koutz, Sergeant, he decided he was going to solve the problem. He got his pipe out, he poured some tobacco into it, and then he took the gunpowder from one of the shells, and then he covered it with gunpowder. And then he went out and found where the other soldier was at, and he put the pipe to his mouth, and he lit the pipe and started to take some puffs on it. And that soldier came over just like he knew he would. "Sergeant Koutz, can I have a smoke on your pipe?" "Sure." And he handed him the pipe, and he walked off, or started to walk away, and he was puffing on a pipe, and when the heat of the burning tobacco hit the gunpowder, it exploded. It damaged the pipe, but it blew all the tobacco out of the pipe. And he never asked Sergeant Searight Christlieb Koutz for another smoke on his pipe. Another story. They were deep in Southern territory, and that evening they made camp, and the colonel who was in charge told all of them, "No one leaves camp. We're just going to stay right here all night, and we'll make our moves tomorrow. But I don't want anybody going out of camp tonight." Well, everybody settled in, and there was a sentry. He saw Sergeant Koutz. He was sneaking out, and a little bit later he snuck back in. Now, if the sentry on guard saw both, I'm not sure, but he saw him coming back in, I know that. And so the next morning, Sergeant Koutz, he got called to go see the colonel. And he reported to the colonel, and the colonel said, "Sergeant Koutz, I understand you were out of camp last night, is that correct?" "Yes, sir." "Didn't you understand the order? I gave an order. No one was to sneak out of camp or go out of camp last night. Did you not hear my order?" "No, sir, I heard your order." "Well, then, why did you leave camp?" "Well, sir, during the day, as we were moving along, I saw a smokehouse, and it wasn't too far back, so after we made camp last evening, I went back to that smokehouse, and I got a ham for me," and then he brought his ham from around his back and had another ham, and he said, "I got another ham, sir, for you," and put it on the colonel's desk. So this colonel, he just kind of cleared his throat and didn't quite know what to say, but he just cleared his throat and said, "Well, okay, Sergeant Koutz, you are the supply sergeant, so next time, be careful. Don't get caught." Another story. Searight Christlieb Koutz, he was a good judge of horse flesh. I mean, he knew horses. He knew them well. And what he did, he had to take some soldiers with him down to the railroad yards to get horses that were being shipped in to his fort. And as they saw the horses coming off the train, he saw this one really, as he described it, beautiful black horse. And he told the soldiers, that horse has spirit. Now the horse did not have a saddle or bridle or anything. But Sergeant Koutz, he just ran over there, jumped on the bare back of that horse, hung onto the mane, kicked him in the sides, and ran that horse for about a quarter of a mile, turned him and brought him back. And he told the other soldiers, if I take this horse back to the fort, some officer is going to get him. So what he did, he took the saddle off of his horse and put it on the new horse, the black horse. And went back to the fort. He was riding the black horse, and his horse, he had mixed that in with the herd. This is my fourth story about Searight Christlieb Koutz. You've seen this in movies. The soldiers, especially the cavalry, they line up facing each other, sitting on their horses. And then at some point, the shooting starts. Well, what happened, there appeared to be a gunshot, and it startled the horse that Searight Christlieb Koutz was on. And his horse started to charge the Confederate lines, and the Confederates were shooting at him. And a bullet hit his belt buckle and knocked him off the horse, knocked the wind out of him. His horse turned around, and he came back to Sergeant Koutz. Sergeant Koutz got on his horse and rode back to the Union lines. And the Union soldiers were cheering him. As I recall, I was told that even the Confederate soldiers were cheering him.